Hello, America. My name is Guy Calisi, and you are listening to the Older Bulls podcast. And today, I ask you the question, what is passion? Yes, it is a hard question to answer, but I'm going to try to do it here. I'm going to give you my version of what I think passion is. There are a lot of definitions. I'm going to include a definition that I found in Webster's as well. So what is passion? What does it really mean to be passionate about something? I love to hear people speak about things that they are passionate about. The people who have the ability to do this can stir up emotions in people, me, you, and get them excited about whatever the topic is. Whether whether you were originally interested in what they were talking about or not, there is something magical about passion that draws us in. If I were to share that definition that I found in Webster's, it's kind of a lengthy definition, so just bear with me. Passion is a feeling of intense enthusiasm towards or compelling desire for someone or something. Passion can range from eager interest in or admiration for an idea, proposal, or cause, to enthusiastic enjoyment of an interest or activity, to strong attraction, excitement, or emotion towards a person. It is particularly used in the context of romance or sexual desire, though it generally implies a deeper or more encompassing emotion than that implied by the term of lust. We are not talking about it in that sense. We're talking about it in the sense of you presenting in your life and how you present to the world, and whether you exude this thing that we call passion or energy, whatever you want to call it. These people that I'm talking about, exude love and excitement for the topic and that they're discussing or sharing with people. And it's oftentimes contagious. It's motivational and even inspirational. And someone who is jacked up or driven by passion can really get a crowd going, whether it's a public speaker, and we've all experienced that, or someone at an office party. It doesn't really matter. I know that I've been drawn to people who were talking at get-togethers that I've had. I didn't even know what they were talking about, but just how animated they were, and the intonation with which they were speaking, it attracts you to what they're talking about, and it makes something that may not have been interesting to you originally interesting. So these people are usually very animated, and their energy is undeniable. And it's very impressive. But what's even more impressive than that, I ask you, is if a presenter can deliver a presentation or a speech or performance with that kind of passion without really being passionate about that particular subject that they're presenting. That is a feat. That is truly an art form, right? Um, I think if someone is assigned a topic for work or school, because I'm a school teacher, and right away they're like, gee, I could not care less about this topic. How am I going to talk or present on this and convince people that I actually care about it? Well, therein lies the challenge. And the issue here is that most people can do the things that they want to do with relative ease. But when it comes to things that they don't like or that they're not interested in, there are very few people who can enact the will needed to put forth the effort to be successful in achieving the desired goal. But if they can, well, then that is an impressive performance or presentation in my eyes. I talk to my students about this very topic frequently because, as you could imagine, in school, even middle school, there are a plethora of things that our students are not interested in, but still need to learn about, right? So I tell them that the secret is just, it's not about caring about the topic, it's about caring about caring. So just care about caring. You do not have to care about the topic that you need to find out more about, but you do need to care about how you are going to present that topic to the world and what that says about you. That presentation says a lot about you. What an incredible skill it is. Just say, you can just say, I don't care about this. I don't want to know anything about this. But it's my job to do a good job with this presentation. So that's what I'm going to do. And it becomes a challenge then at that point. Because if you really don't care about the topic that you need to speak about, well, you got to turn it into a game, my friend. That's what you have to do. It's got to be a challenge. Game on. How do I make this fun? My adolescents respond well to challenges. If you turn it into, it's trickery, really. If you turn it into a kind of a game, it's a little more fun. Care about your presentation and how it speaks about you and how we present to the world. That counts for a lot. I'm not one of those people, and I've said this before in other podcasts, I'm going to say it again. We are judgmental beasts. We have to use our judgment, right, to make it through this world successfully. Sometimes we may have good judgment, sometimes we have bad judgment. We make good calls, we make bad calls, but we are judgmental, and to be judgmental is not a bad thing. I don't know why it's got that negative connotation, hooked to it, but it's just the way that we are. So someone who can turn on the passion because it is required, well, those people are the ones that will be successful no matter what. And I believe that. Those who can only do it for the things that they care about will fall short. And it will be obvious to their audience, whoever they're presenting to, that they are lacking something. Guess what it is? You guessed it, passion. Here's a little insight from someone who's been teaching for 30 years. That's me. I get that person sometimes that doesn't have much to say until we find something that truly tickles them, and then they won't shut up. So I find it mostly in young boys, young adolescent boys. They're the kings of the one-word response, and sometimes those words are just guttural sounds, almost like cavemen. Let's say when they are approached with a challenge or something that they're not really interested in, how do they respond? I can't do that. It can't be done. Actually, it isn't that at all. It's not that it can't be done. It's that they aren't willing or able to do it, which is not the same as it not being able to be done, right? Can we agree on that? Or these cavemen, as I refer to them, would say something like, there is no way that can be explained, whatever it is we're talking about, in a short one-sentence answer. But remember, these are the kids who would just go on blah, blah, blah about whatever they're interested in forever. But now they can't even come up with, a response. Well, I just look at them with disinterest and say, so are you saying what I'm asking you to do is impossible? Well, it's not impossible, they'll say. That's right. It's just hard, and it's going to take some thought and a little effort on your part. I personally want people to know that whenever I do anything, I want my students to know this especially. And, this is not something that you can preach to your kids, to your employees, to anybody. You just have to live it. And if you don't live it, then it's not believable. You can say all you want, and, all the people that you're preaching to will just roll their eyes. But if you actually do it, you can go back and point to those things that you've actually done in these situations that have come up and say, hey, remember when I did that? I didn't want to do that at all, but I knew that it was important. I knew it was important for the goal. I knew it was important for the team. So I had to get it done. So it's like I said, it's just hard. It's going to take some thought. It's going to take a little effort. I want people to know that whenever I do anything, I can be counted on for my A+ version, and it will have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not I like what it is I have been asked to do. To do this, like the student nerds, to be able to write in a clear and concise writing style. There are certain people who can do that, and they can do it well. But, these young boys, these cavemen type that I'm talking about, they're not really good at that. So they need this concise writing style. It does take practice, and it actually is a great skill that needs to be honed. It's about vocabulary, right? We can agree on that. It's about giving your audience a clear understanding of an idea or a concept or an event that you want to explain. And funny, when somebody asks that same student, that same caveman boy, to talk about something that they've absolutely no interest in, and they just want to get it done, all of a sudden they can sum it up in a few words, a fragment actually, not even a complete sentence. But when it's something that they feel excited about or have passion for, they just keep going and going and droning on. So, you need to discipline yourself in the way that you communicate. And whether you have interest in it or don't have interest in it, it should all sound the same. And I'm talking about like you care about it, not the same in monotone and non-interesting tone. In these cases, what is happening is that when the student is very interested in a topic, they want to show off what they know, right? And I get that. We like to be able to share what we know. My question is, why do we decide to put passion and enthusiasm into the things that we like? But when we are asked to do something in which we are not interested in, we just do a so-so job or a mediocre job at best. What's the difference, I ask you? I mean, I know what the difference is, but there shouldn't be a difference. They should actually be approached in the same way. Let me tell you why. We have the responsibility to do what is expected of us, okay? And if the assignment is you need to do this, then this is the way you need to do it, and you need to do it in an A+ fashion. Whether you get an A+ or not, I'm not saying that. One man's A+ is another man's B-, right? But that B- might be the best that I could do. I gave it my all. I put it on the line. I put it on the table. That's everything I've got. So I got a B-. But I walk away still proud because I know I did the best that I could. So all the time, every day, to do the best of our ability. Your response is a direct reflection upon your character every single day. The responsibility is the same. It's just doing what is asked of you. That's it. So having nothing to do with what you are or are not interested in, we say, hey, this is my job. It is a matter of accountability and integrity of character. This is about me, plain and simple, nothing more complicated than that. It's not about whether I like it. It's not about whether I want to do it or I don't want to do it. Don't confuse the issue. You have a challenge put in front of you. The challenge is to make this the best that you can. Either do it or don't. And I don't know why you wouldn't do it. Because again, you're signing your name on whatever it is you're doing. It's a presentation, a PowerPoint, whatever. Okay, so I want to just kind of backtrack a little bit. I spoke about energy and charisma or magnetism, whatever you want to call it, intensity in the previous episode. But the more I think about passion, after I wrote this episode, the more I realized just how connected or interwoven it is with energy, right? I think it should be a part of every man's ability, every man's staple. You should be able to do these things. It should be in your stable of things that you can do. To go from 0 to 60 in a controlled fashion, in a controlled burst. So 0 to 60, I mean, I'm talking about amping it up right away, right? To get it going, to just pedal to the metal. And I think about my martial arts training to be able to flip that switch in a second in order to respond to a threat is crucial. You have to be able to do that because you pause, you lose. And I'm beginning to realize more than ever that the idea of instilling passion in others, well, it's kind of like that leading the horse to water expression. I think that we can only be examples of what passion looks and feels like. We can't ever instill it in our friends, our family, our students, our coworkers, our bosses. We just can't. We just have to provide opportunities for any way that we can to show examples of passion, to be an example of a passionate individual. So we can't expect others to have the same passion or excitement But I think providing a source of that passion or enthusiasm so that others can experience it and maybe be touched by it, well, that's our responsibility. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I spoke about lighting ourselves on fire, and letting other people watch you burn. And to me, that's what life is all about, right? If you have that spirit, if you have that in you, it is your responsibility to share that with the world. We're just about, done. Um, we're starting a new school year right now. And this is the oddest school year that I have ever been involved in my 30 years of teaching experience. These are the COVID kids, right? And they're going to be the subjects of studies for years to come. How this whole time um, that they've been going through and dealing with the things that they've had to deal with, like no other kids at any other time, will psychologically affect them. It's still to be seen. We just don't know. So I know that my role now as a teacher for these kids is to be as jacked up as I can be, um, to be a source of energy and enthusiasm and passion for them. Now, there's no guarantee that by me being as dynamic as I can be, I will be able to help them to stay positive and be able to get through this tough and challenging time with a good attitude. But like I said, and I'll say it again, it's my responsibility to give them an opportunity to respond to my enthusiasm. America, that's how I see it, and I'm sticking to it. See you next time.